Wat Tyler's Rebellion by Peyton Kreutzer. The image on the right is a picture of Wat Tyler. What was Wat Tyler's Rebellion? Wat Tyler's Rebellion, also known as the Peasants' Revolt or the Great Revolt, was an unsuccessful rebellion that took place in England in 1381, which was led by Wat Tyler. The peasants took part in a damaging rebellion against officials looking for many social changes regarding their status in the society, as well as advocating for their rights. This rebellion not only raised awareness for the rights of the peasants, but also led to many deaths, including the beheading of Wat Tyler. Though it seemed like an overall unsuccessful rebellion, some may say it led to the change in the taxing system in Europe during this time. What caused Wat Tyler's rebellion? There were many factors that caused Wat Tyler's rebellion. One of the most significant things that caused Wat Tyler's rebellion was the Black Death that took place in 1348. This plague killed over 30% of the population living in Europe during this time. Because of this, the number of people decreased rapidly, which caused an increase in the number of jobs needing to be done. The events and aftermath of the Black Death caused many labor shortages throughout Europe, so people were being forced to work. Also, many powerful people, like government officials, forced the peasants to work with low wages and harsh working conditions. Another thing that led to the beginning of Wat Tyler's rebellion was because the poll tax was introduced. The poll tax required that all people over the age of 15 had to pay 1 shilling or some of their goods if they couldn't afford 1 shilling. All people over age 15, no matter their circumstance, had to pay whether they were rich or poor. Many of the peasants during this time disagreed with this and couldn't afford it. Therefore, some didn't abide by this rule. In May of 1381, a tax collector arrived in Fobbing and realized that many of the serfs weren't paying their taxes. This event led to the rise in the peasants and the beginning of Wat Tyler's rebellion. When and where did the rebellion take place? Wat Tyler's rebellion started in 1381 in England and moved into Canterbury in London. This event took place 35 years after the Black Death. It also moved into Norfolk, Suffolk, and Cambridge. The image on the left shows a map of England during this time. The red arrows are the principal peasant marches. The red dot is the center of unrest. A lot of the center of unrest was in Norwich, Cambridge, and London, and many other places. All the orange shows the area affected by the peasant violence. What did the peasants do? 60,000 peasants revolted during Wat Tyler's rebellion. They went into London hoping to talk to King Richard II. Though the rebellion can be known as the Peasants' Revolt, not all of them were peasants. Some of the people were tradesmen and also churchmen. Some of the most influential men in this rebellion was Wat Tyler from Kent and John Ball. It is known that Wat Tyler was the main leader of the rebellion, while John Ball was a priest who was part of the rebellion. During the revolt, the peasants caused a lot of destruction. Firstly, they destroyed all things related to taxes. These included the tax records as well as the registers. They also harmed and assaulted many of the tax collectors. They caused a lot of chaos in the town as well. They burnt down buildings, looted, and murdered many people. They also let many of the prisoners free. While this was all happening, King Richard II, who was only 14 years old at the time, was taking refuge in the Tower of London for safety. King Richard agreed to meet with Wat Tyler on June 14th. At this meeting at Mile End, King Richard II agreed to listen to all the wants and the needs of the peasants. The peasants, also known as the rebels, murdered many higher-up officials, including the Archbishop of Canterbury as well as the Lord Chancellor, because they believed that these two leaders were very dishonorable. They met again on June 15th at Smithfield, where the Mayor of London, William Walworth, stabbed Wat Tyler because he saw him as a threat to the king. After that, Wat Tyler was taken to the hospital and later beheaded. What did the peasants want? The peasants revolted because they wanted many things and felt very unheard. One of the most important things that the peasants wanted were freedom and change within the feudal system. The feudal system was where certain people held a certain amount of power within the society. Peasants held the least amount of power and freedom. The peasants wanted social change as well as the end of serfdom for good. That is why they went to King Richard II. They felt that serfdom was unfair and wanted everyone to be seen as equal with equal amounts of wealth and power. They also wanted the poll tax to be removed as well as the church give up some of their wealth to be redistributed amongst all people. They stated that they also wanted more rights in the government as well as more voting rights. Because of all these things, they rebelled because they wanted to be seen and heard, and they believed that they deserved more in this society. The image on the right shows the rebellion.
Bio et quant, et passava l'heure à coin du duc qui Bourgogne noir, et sauve
There are hundreds of them. They're carrying sticks and old axes.
I'm sure they'll listen to your proclamation, sir, and go away peacefully. Shall I go on reading, sir? Et sauve à loi et Benoit. Sire, the peasants have...
Oh, yes! His Majesty King Richard bids you leave London and go home. If you
Bio et quant, et passava l'heure à coin du duc qui Bourgogne noir, et sauve à
There are
loi...
hundreds of them. They're carrying sticks and old axes.
I'm sure they'll listen to your proclamation, sir, and go away peacefully. Shall I go on reading, sir? Et sauve à loi et Benoit. Sire, the peasants have...
Oh, yes!
This clip from this video is very important because it shows that the peasants were very unruly and stormed into the castle.
If you
The
do,
king and higher-up officials didn't quite know what to do or how to stop them or handle the situation. They told them that they should all go home and
I listened to none of my proclamations.
after the first time Wat Tyler and King Richard II met, they listened to his pleas to leave London and go home. The peasants' revolt was very frustrating for the king, as they didn't know how to handle all the chaos happening. The peasants also didn't have a problem with the king. Instead, they found the other officials to be very corrupt, so therefore they killed them. King Richard, being so young at the time, didn't know how to handle all this uprising, but he did it in the best way he could, which was agreeing to meet up with Wat Tyler and talk about what he could do to create change within the society. What resulted from the revolt? Some of the most notable results of Wat Tyler's rebellion was that the poll tax was eliminated. Even though the king promised an end to the hierarchical system in the society, it wasn't abolished and remained even after the revolt. Also, because of the rebellion, many of the rebels were hanged, as well as it led to the death of Wat Tyler and many other notable figures who helped lead the rebellion and bring about social change. Another thing that resulted from the revolt is that the peasants realized that they could come together in large groups to create change. What did the feudal system in Europe look like? At the top of the hierarchical system was the church and the king, as well as the queen. Under them were the nobles and the townspeople. Then were the servants, vassals, knights, and lords. Under that were the free men and the serfs. That category contains the peasants. These are all the sources I used. Thank you for listening.